if you look at all of our social channels, today we've released a really fast version of the large lap of the course. So we've got it's one small lap, which is a mile long, followed by 12 large laps, and then 530-meter finish. Every lap is 3,333.3 meters, in case anyone's taking notes. But what that actually means is we've got 2 split points. So it's essentially a lap and a half of a large lap that gets your 5K. So it will be quite simple to follow and just useful to know from that as well. The course is nice and flat. The weather's looking as though we've got like a southerly wind, which I believe is going to be beneficial for the athletes, as there's a 1.4K stretch that goes straight line essentially, and the runners
be pretty protected in Kew Gardens. Sorry to jump in there, Tom, but I think, like, you know, I've been to Kew Gardens, not to race around, but actually just to enjoy it, it's absolutely fantastic, by the way. So if anyone ever gets a chance to go, do go. But I think you're going to be quite enclosed, well protected. There's lots of trees there, so even if it is a bit windy, I think they'll get a lot of shelter from the elements
and the pacemakers as well. The marathon is a race of 2 halves: the first 30K and the last 10 or 12. But I think absolutely. I think the worst wind, from my personal feeling, is if there's what we've had for the last couple of weeks, which is this northerly wind coming from Newcastle. You've been giving us the bad weather, and I think that's the worst one that the athletes could have. So I think it's now flipped. So when it gets a bit warmer this week, hopefully it's sort of, if it is there, obviously no wind, no rain is perfect conditions and that. But if we are going to get anything, if it comes from the south, then I think that would be quite beneficial.
Things do calm down usually towards the end of March. What they say about March is, say it's in like a lion and out like a lamb. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully by next week, coming towards the end of March, I think, like you say, things will settle. Hopefully they'll get good conditions. The wind won't be too bad, and even if it is, they're well protected. Got pacemakers, so it's going to set them up nicely to get that qualifying time.
For the athletes' sake, I just hope they've had all this bad weather, and because of COVID, a lot of them have actually been in the country. Only a few of them actually would have been out to altitude training. So I hope they get a good rub of the green. They don't have another London Marathon in October, especially the females that had just ridiculous weather for that. So we're due some good luck.
Dowie's been slugging it out, training hard in Wales. I can't imagine the wind's great conditions there. So, like you say, most lads have been here in the UK, so they're going to be well prepared mentally to deal with anything that's thrown at them, I reckon.
Yeah, I think you're completely right. When I watched the clip of the course, the first thing I thought was, wow, there's actually some really good wind cover from the trees on both sides. And it's almost, I think that if they're almost in a pack formation where people are tucking in behind the leaders or the pacemakers, you could almost be in like this wind tunnel. And if the wind's behind you, you can find yourself shooting down some parts of the course. And I think the main thing that I found from the course from watching that video is that it looks quick. You see some courses and you think, oh, that don't look that quick. But the first thing I thought was, it looks quick. And if it looks quick, chances are it's going to be quick. People have had their opinions on it, whether this is going to be too tight or whether that's going to be too tight. But there's great sections across the whole lap. There's some sections where you could run 20 abreast, and over a 26-mile race, you've got your time to make your moves when you need to.
I think we chatted about, there's only one. It's not even, is it bad? I'm not even sure you would call it a bad.
There's one right angle.
One angle, but if it's a second a lap, then it's
12 seconds. They lose 12 seconds throughout a 26.2 miles, but there's no hills. And what you lose is what is sort of what you gain as well with it, and I think and what spooked everyone is that it's such a different type of race.
Yeah.
And I've been sort of, you guys are sort of relatively competitive runners. I used to be as well before the belly came. But I keep going back to like the road relays, which is for those that don't know, it's like a national club relays thing, and it's you've probably got 100 teams there, and they go round, but it's like a 4 meter in some places. As you said, there's certain parts of the course that's 8 meters wide, especially the start lap and everything else, and as the runners will thin out, the paths do as well. But I think you've got, this, we're probably going to have, probably 14, 15 men and probably 14, 15 women. And also, as the race goes on, in these championships, at these trials, there'll be a lot of dropouts. So I think we're gonna have a different, a completely different way. I understand it's not London. I understand it's not a marathon major and that, but we also don't necessarily need that. This is all about speed. It was, it was mainly all about COVID. So we start off with this sort of safety approach, okay, which Kew Gardens from our event in September, we were able to do. And then the rest is there. In my mind, to visualize it, we've got pacemakers. So in our lead men and women, we've got 2 lead pacemakers, both of them in male in both races. The formation, I don't know if many of you have watched the Ineos, the 159 and everything else, and they've gone down of how they're gonna, there you go, how you're gonna sort of, what's the formation gonna be? Well, I think the formation is gonna be very, very simple. We're gonna have two pacemakers at the front, and then the athletes will be, in 2 or 3 abreast behind if they want to be, but as I said, that they don't need to tactically be doing surges like a 1500 meter race that you would do, Ross, in an Olympic final. And that it's almost a survival of the fittest. And I keep describing it as a train. This train's going to be going around Kew Gardens the whole way round, and slowly but surely the carriages will just fall off at the end until we're left with what we're left with.
100%. And the main thing is what you said. The first thing that this was all about was COVID. The main thing we've got a race, right? We've got a race, and it's very easy to sound ungrateful as a fan when you start nitpicking things apart. Oh, is that good enough? Is that bad enough? But we should be grateful that we have an opportunity for these athletes to actually qualify for the Olympics, because for a very long time, didn't look like we were going to have that. So, kudos to you, Tom. Kudos to your team for making it happen, because if we didn't have this opportunity and the athletes didn't have this opportunity, it would be a tougher year than it's going to look like it's going to be for those people that do want to run the marathon at the Olympics at the end of the day, as well as the athletes that are trying to qualify for the Commonwealth Games too. This is a huge opportunity for them, where a few of these athletes may think, okay, well, I'm not quite quick enough to achieve that Olympic qualifier, but I do think on the right day, I can hit that Commonwealth Games target. And this is their opportunity. And like you say, I think that fear factor was because we're not used to an event like this. We're used to the Londons, the world majors, the big things like that. But this lapped course, this new way of racing, it's exciting, but it's the uncertainty. But for me as a fan, I think it's great, and I can't wait to watch it all unfold.
This coming Friday, live from Kew Gardens, 26th of March, you can catch the Müller British Athletics Marathon and Race Walk trials. Race walk kicks off at 6 a.m, marathon kicks off at 8 a.m. You can watch all of the action live on BBC Sport, the iPlayer and the British Athletics website.